I told myself it was just a week. Just a cabin by the lake. He was off limits, my best friend's brother, older now, quieter. Dangerous in a way I hadn't expected. We promised not to cross the line. But that night the storm knocked out the lights. And his touch lit something inside me I couldn't ignore. It wasn't supposed to happen. But it did. And once it started, there was no going back. Please don't forget to subscribe and comment. We promised not to cross the line. But it was too late, and he had already done it full on me. That line. That invisible, trembling line that was never meant to blur. It had been there since the beginning, humming quietly like an unspoken rule between us. I was never supposed to feel the things I felt when I looked at him. And he was never supposed to touch me like that. But some storms don't wait for your permission. It started the night everything went dark in the cabin. I had gone up to Lake Arden for a week of isolation and quiet. The deadlines at work were chewing at my bones, and my body begged for sleep I hadn't known in months. Nora, my best friend since high school, insisted I needed this getaway. And when she offered me her family's secluded lodge, I didn't hesitate. What I didn't know was that her younger brother, Mason, had just returned from a research trip in Costa Rica and had the same idea. It was supposed to be awkward. That's what I prepared for. We hadn't spoken in years. He was the smart, charming troublemaker who used to tease me mercilessly when we were teens. But he'd grown up clearly. His voice had settled into a deep, smooth baritone, and the first time he said my name, Ava, it made my skin pull tight in strange places. Just a few days, we agreed. We'll share the space. No big deal. He looked at me with a crooked smile. We're adults. We won't cross any lines. Those words felt innocent, a promise made in jest. I even laughed. We clinked glasses by the fireplace that night. Him with a beer, me with red wine. But something flickered behind his eyes when our fingers brushed as he handed me the glass. It was quick, maybe even accidental, but I felt the burn of it for hours after. The next morning, I found him shirtless in the kitchen, cooking eggs. The muscles in his back shifted like slow waves under skin, and I tried not to stare, but the heat in the room had nothing to do with the stove. I said good morning with a shaky voice, and he grinned like he knew. I could have turned away. I should have. By day 3 the weather turned. Heavy clouds rolled over the lake, and the rain didn't stop for hours. I curled on the couch, reading a novel I couldn't focus on. Mason sat opposite me, working on something in his journal, legs stretched out, ankles crossed. Every few minutes, I felt his eyes skim across me like a whisper I wasn't supposed to hear. The room was too quiet, too intimate. Every creak of the floor, every shift of breath, felt magnified. That evening the power went out. We lit candles. The shadows danced against the walls, and the silence between us grew thicker. There was nothing else to do but talk. So we did. He asked about my job, my recent breakup, my failed attempt at moving to Chicago. I asked about his travels, his fieldwork in the jungle, how he almost got bitten by a coral snake. Our laughter spilled like warm honey. The hours melted. At one point he moved closer, handing me a blanket. "You're shivering," he said, his voice low. "I'm fine," I whispered. He didn't move away. Then came the pause. That long, lingering pause where the air seemed to buzz around us, waiting. I looked up. His face was inches from mine. His eyes tracing my lips. I should have pulled back. I didn't. "Don't," I whispered. "Don't what?" he murmured. "Don't make it harder." He smiled faintly. We already crossed something. When he kissed me, it wasn't explosive. It was slow, almost reverent, like he was afraid I might disappear. His hands didn't grope or grab. They simply held me gently at the waist like I was something precious. It would have been easy to pull away. The candlelight made his features look too soft, too inviting. But his mouth pressed against mine again, and this time I leaned in. We didn't go further that night. He pulled back, eyes dark with restraint. "We said we wouldn't," he murmured. "We promised." "I know," I said, breathless. But it's already too late. He slept on the couch. I stayed in the guest room. But I didn't sleep. I lay awake, heart thudding, fingers brushing the lips he kissed. I could still taste him. The next morning, the air was thick with something unspoken. We pretended nothing happened, like good people do when the line is thin and dangerous. We cleaned, cooked, talked about the weather. But the tension simmered beneath every word. When he passed behind me in the kitchen, his hand grazed the small of my back. My knees nearly gave out. That night it happened. The storm returned, harder. The wind howled through the trees, and the windows trembled in their frames. I found him on the porch, shirt soaked, watching the lightning shatter across the lake. I should have gone back inside. But instead I stepped toward him. "You'll get sick," I said. He turned, hair plastered to his forehead. "Couldn't sleep." "Me neither." He looked at me for a long moment. "You should go inside." "You're the one standing in the rain," I replied. He stepped forward, rainwater dripping from his jaw. "If I kiss you again." "Don't finish that," I whispered. He reached for me. The kiss this time wasn't gentle. It was messy and wet, and it tasted like thunder. I wrapped my arms around his neck, my breath hitching as he pulled me against him. Soaked clothes clinging to skin, heartbeat matching storm. He didn't ask permission when he lifted me. I didn't stop him when he carried me inside. Our lips still locked, breath hot and desperate. The blanket fell from the couch as he laid me down, and for a moment everything stilled. His hands moved over me, not rushed, not rough, but with intention, like he was memorizing every inch through fabric. My shirt lifted slightly, and I gasped, but it wasn't fear. It was fire. I felt his breath near my ear, his voice thick. "Say stop." But I didn't. He kissed his way down my neck, each one deeper, slower, more consuming. My nails dug into his shoulders, and I arched beneath him, the tension of days snapping all at once. We didn't speak. There were only sounds, the rain, our breath, the soft groan from the floorboards beneath us. Even with our clothes mostly on, the connection was blistering. Every move felt like we were pulling threads loose, one by one. Every moment hovered at the edge, never tipping too far, never crossing into what couldn't be shown or said, but pressing so close the air ached around it. When it was over, I lay beneath him, fingers tangled in his hair, both of us breathing hard, hearts pounding against each other like fists on a door we couldn't close anymore. I whispered, "We said we wouldn't." He kissed my shoulder. "I know. But we did." The next morning, sunlight poured through the windows like nothing had happened. But everything had. I didn't regret it. Not even a little. But I was scared. We avoided eye contact for hours, both of us quiet, pretending to be busy. The cabin felt smaller, the air denser. I thought he'd ask what now. I thought I'd say it was a mistake. But we didn't. When I left that evening to head back to the city, he stood by the car, hands in his pockets. "I don't want this to end here," he said. "It shouldn't have started," I replied. He looked down. But it did. I didn't kiss him goodbye. Couldn't. My skin still tingled from the memory. My heart was too raw. That night, back in my apartment, I couldn't sleep. My lips still felt his kiss. My fingers still remembered the shape of his back, the tremble in his arms as he held me. I had promised myself lines were meant to protect. But sometimes, what lies beyond them is the truth we've been hiding from all along. Weeks passed. I kept his number in my phone but didn't text. He didn't call either. But one night I got a message. "I didn't forget," it read. Neither did I. The next weekend I saw him again, unexpectedly at a mutual friend's dinner. When our eyes met, the air shifted. No words. No promises, just that look, the same one from the porch. And I knew the line wasn't just crossed, it was erased. And maybe that's where the real story begins.